Everything just took place. Why are we still dumping even though there is really good news? Do you guys want to know why? Guys, we're in the middle of a storm right now. We'll talk about why we're getting rid of an extra piece of the path to the promised land, or prosperity in today's movie. We are sure of the exact plan and time frame. Please like the movie for today, and let's go. Made by Mr. Punk. When the government shut down, there was a dump. When the shutdown ended, there was another dump. The government just opened again or is still dumping. Rate cuts mean dump. No more cuts, dump everything. When BlackRock buys, it means dump. It's a dump that BlackRock is selling. There is a dump in the markets for everything, whether it's bullish or negative. Why does that happen? Since we're in the storm, guys, do you remember? We're not out of it until the chart says so. NASDAQ, the stock market, also fell today. A lot, right? That's a lot for the stock market. Why do we have to dump? Due to the fact that the market wanted CPI today. The White House laughed and said, LOL, that's not going to happen. The lack of facts is making things hard. What makes it true? I don't know. Most likely an attempt to drive prices down, which would fit in nicely with the launch of XRP ETFs, right? Which means that if they dropped it to, say, $2, they'd buy as much XRP as they could before putting it back up to at least $3. That's why this is interesting, right? What is being done to trick people? Verizon just said that they are letting go of 15,000 workers, or 15% of their staff. Then in the last 48 hours, 3 different leaders of the Federal Reserve have said they are more worried about inflation. Yes, prices won't go down until the black swan shows up. That's something I can promise you. By the way, we called this first. At some point, I knew this was going to happen. This is the first time ever that Bitcoin is going up in smoke. MicroStrategy's NAV has dropped below 1, which means that Saylor's Bitcoin reserves are worth less than their entire debt. Traders are betting that MicroStrategy will go downhill quickly and have to sell Bitcoin for. We really called it first. Do you remember when we said MicroSaylor would literally go out of business? It's said to be down here, and what is Saylor's sale price? Of course, $75,000 per Bitcoin. It says false here for fact check. MicroStrategy doesn't hold leverage positions. It owns real Bitcoin. At $75,000, there are no liquidation events. If you sell them for less than their average cost of $73,000, you'll lose money that you haven't yet realized paid for with bonds and notes, not profit. But what do you know? It's the same thing. The buyers will be very worried about what is going on and start to shake as soon as the price of Bitcoin falls below $75,000. Okay? On the money they invested, even more so when Bitcoin is falling, they don't want to see red. What takes place? There's a thing called for selling, yes? What happens when those lenders want their money back? Right on, yes? Guys, we already knew this was the plan. We really did call it first, right? That they are going to eventually go after MicroSaylor. Okay, MicroSaylor, the end of MicroStrategy, will be the bottom of Bitcoin. This is just how I feel, and sometimes I'm right, guys. Before long, MicroSaylor and MicroStrategy will both go out of business. That will be the bottom of Bitcoin, okay? While this isn't financial advice, guys, 200 million or more worth of longs have been closed, yes? A lot of people are going out of business and other things. Here is the exact plan. David Schwartz said, I think this will happen now, and so did we. Are you ready? Guys, a lot of crazy news is coming out about the battle. Until the UCT, we're still in the storm. The 5-day dominance picture shows that we need to go below this 5-day moving average, which is at 4.42% for that to happen. Guys, I'm glad they added another decimal point because it makes it more accurate now. What's going on though, okay? By the way, this fits nicely with us dumping, right? All of this bad news is making me sad. Why? Because of all the crazy news that's coming out right now, I think this is the path that XRP will take. This will exactly match the insiders buying as much XRP as they can before they pump it. Why did we dump in the first place? Well, history tends to repeat itself, or at least rhyme. The ETFs began trading right here, okay? The XRP ETFs started trading right then. What took place? We dumped. First, though, we pumped, right? We pumped, ETFs went public, and then we dumped. That's all for today's XRP. This is Bitcoin's chart when the ETFs first came out in early 2024. I think the ETFs started trading right then. What took place before? We pumped, then we dumped after it went off. Doesn't it seem a little strange that it works so well with XRP's price action? How about Ethereum? When did Ethereum's ETF start trading? Okay, July 24th. Let's look at Ethereum's chart from July 24th. Again, Ethereum didn't even do anything, right? It took off right then. It also dumped, okay? It's possible that they led the way here, right? After that, guys, still the same thing was dumped. H-bar went live on October 27th and 28th. I think they pumped it up and fired it right there. They threw it away. The same trend keeps happening, huh? A lot of people think that October 28th is October 27th, which is when H-bar began. They pumped it up. My guess is that ETFs started right there. They threw it away. How about Solana? The spot Solana ETF went on sale on October 28th, 2018, which was only a couple of weeks ago. Guys, this is it. I don't know if they told the news first there, right? Or maybe there, but they still threw it away when they took off. So things have kept going the same way XRP wasn't a one-off, guys, okay? That tells us what happened after they dumped it, right? What then took place. By the way, they kept throwing it away. It dropped 21% from the top to the bottom of the price range Ethereum, from the very top to the very bottom, okay? Ethereum pretty much died. This is not something I think XRP will do. 40% of H-bar was dumped. Our only goal is to find out how much XRP will drop here. Since HBR dropped 27%, 20% should be the norm, right? 16% for Litecoin that was dumped. That's interesting. For Solana, Solana dumped, and Solana just died, guys. Let's just take this dump, though. Solana dumped about 11%, but if we look at the whole thing, it's about 28%. Okay, so Solana gets 30%. In this case, the range looks like 20% or more. A 20% drop from where it started, guys, let's say at $2.51 and change. When 20% of the value of XRP is dumped, it drops to what, just below $2? That's interesting, huh? Guys, we now know for sure that XRP will go to $2, okay? And I think I'll save this movie in case it comes true. We're going to look at it again because every other asset or cryptocurrency that got an ETF pumped at first, but only for a short time. XRP pumped too, by the way. XRP went up by 8 to 9%, right? The same as Bitcoin. 8% to 9% of Bitcoin went up here. No, not from that place. Let's check it out. Guys, remember when Bitcoin went up 10% and XRP went up about 9%? Then they both went down? That's it for now, XRP. It looks like it did pump here, but it wasn't too crazy. Now it's gonna dump. That's the plan, and I think Bitcoin will do something when we really hit bottom, right? It went through the roof. Take a look at what Ethereum did. It went up a lot anyway, okay? But I guess that's where we are now, right? $3,200, which is about where they started with their ETFs. They just released HBAR and all of their other assets. And they dumped Bitcoin first, though, as they did with everything else. Then they dumped everything first. But for Bitcoin, that's the only record we have. It's pretty clear that they pumped it after, right? I think they dumped Ethereum at first, but then they pumped it again later. That's the plan, guys. In this case, that looks like the best way to get there, right? 20% dump for XRP from here, which gets us to 2, and then fly off, okay? Let's see what CoinDesk comes up with next.